look here and you gotta go, hi, I didn't see you there. I'm Rick Schick, and welcome to Behind the Power with me, Rick Schick, and this other guy.
I'm also Rick Schick. What a coincidence.
When I first met you was in a comic book shop. I end up at dinner with you, and I just overheard the people at dinner talking about, oh, yeah, he's won an Oscar. In my mind, I was thinking, he didn't win an Oscar for Power Rangers. There's no way. I was like, so when did you win an Oscar? Or how did you win an Oscar for what? And he's like, oh, I might have worked on something you heard of. And I don't know what I was expecting because you downplayed it so much. And the first thing out your mouth was Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my thing. So in that moment, I automatically became your biggest fan. It didn't matter what you worked on after that. If you said that was the end of your career, it wouldn't have mattered to me. You worked on
the end of my career.
I know, right?
The only thing I cared about, which is Spider-Man. How exactly did that come about? I think I saw in video on the interweb somewhere of you swinging on some rings. What was that about?
So I used to swing on the rings in Santa Monica. This is where the original Muscle Beach was before it moved to Venice Beach. So I'm swinging on the rings all the time, learning to do the traveling rings. And there's like even a Spider-Man move where once you've swung forward, you like flip over upside down and then grab the next one between your legs. So you finish the flip as you're letting go and going forward. So I'd gone from staff and working freelance at night to full freelance. And one of the first places I worked was Sony Imageworks. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so excited because I'm here to work on Hollow Man. I couldn't like talk to any of the Spider-Man people. I wasn't in a department that had anything to do with the Spider-Man movie that was being made. And so I'm always trying to figure out like, who can I do something around here? Like, who do I need to go bug or whatever? So eventually I decided, well, I know how to swing on the rings because I've been doing this for a while with my friends. So I'm like, surely they need reference of someone who knows how to swing through the air like Spider-Man. So I made this reference video and I talked to my boss and it's on VHS tape. I made a copy on the VHS after, you doing a hand quarter and we cut out all like when you swing back and forth and back and forth. And so we just made it so it's like constantly going forward. So I'm thinking, this is awesome. This is like my big shot to work on Spider-Man. I'm going to show them that like I can help with the animation or, figuring things out. And just, I know Spider-Man, so I should work on the movie is what I'm thinking. And I'm like, talk to my boss. And she's like, well, I can give him a tape if you want. And she's like not enthusiastic about the idea. But I'm like, well, yeah, I definitely want. She's like, all right, well, give me it. So I give her the tape. She's like, you sure you want me to give this to him? So she clearly is smarter than I am about how things work in Hollywood. And I'm thinking like with my enthusiasm and my ability to swing, I'll be a shoo-in for the Spider-Man movie. And it's just some artist who's compositing stuff, no one really cared.
So you didn't get to work on the first one. How did you get involved with second and then eventually?
Yeah, baby.
How did that happen?
Once I started working at Sony, I basically became a repeat offender there where as a freelancer in the freelance world, you're trying to make a network and once you've built up some relationships, you get repeat jobs. Hollow Man worked out. So then I worked on Charlie's Angels and I worked on whatever else they had. They would be calling me fairly regularly to work on stuff. And Sony was a great place. We had a great time. It was a lot of fun. Sony had their own in-house compositing system that they were developing. And Flame was an established compositing system. And I worked on the Flame. And with the Flame, we could fix anything. We could do anything. Like anything that was shot wrong, we could fix it and make it look right. And the Sony compositing system, it was more, if everything was done correctly, then they could layer it together and maybe fix a few little things. But like if like someone's hand disappeared behind someone's head, then came back again, and then they removed that person, they needed the hand the whole time. Like I could paint a new hand, I could make a new hand, I could animate a little bit. So like we were in Flame, we were rotoscoping, we were tracking, we were matte painting, we were compositing, we were color. Like we were a one person, one artist stop for, hey, here's a problem. Can you fix this? Yes, I can. That's what we did. So Sony didn't want, or someone at Sony didn't want the Flame department working on Spider-Man. Or maybe someone had something went bad in Flame once, and so they blamed it on Flame, not the artist. but someone didn't want Flame involved on Spider-Man. So the few people who worked on Spider-Man were on the down low. There were a couple of people who worked on Spider-Man 1, but they didn't want anyone to know that they worked on it because then it meant something went wrong, I guess, maybe, and they needed extra help to make it work. So by the time Spider-Man 2 came around, it was more acceptable for Flame to work on Spider-Man. Like it's more part of it's more integrated with the rest of the system. I mean, it was still like a separate pipeline and we were a separate bunch of people for whatever reason. So by Spider-Man 2, I was a known person enough at Imageworks that, I came to work on it. And so I'm on the Sony lot and I see Sam Raimi coming the other way. And I was like, hi, we met before. He's like, oh, I remember you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you don't, but it's so nice of you to say that. Like, that's awesome. So we end up chatting for a little bit. And then he says to me, well, maybe we can drag you back kicking and screaming to work on Spider-Man 3. I'm like, sure thing, Mr. Raimi, see you around. Thanks for chatting. And then I turn around and I run back to my boss. And I'm like, I get to her office and I open the door. I'm like, Don, I just talked to Sam Raimi and he said he wants me to work on Spider-Man 3. So you got to make sure that I work on Spider-Man 3 because he just asked for me in particular to work on Spider-Man 3. So I just want to make sure that, we got to do what Sam wants because, oh man, that's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. Sam Raimi asked me to work on Spider-Man 3.